Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, divorce support for dads, where we help dads create a healthy and less traumatic divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I'm your host. I created this podcast and the Divorced Advocate community as a result of my own high conflict divorce, and because you as a dad deserve all the resources necessary to thrive through this challenging time. I encourage you to check out our website at thedivorcedadvocate.com, where there are resources that correspond to this episode, as well as free access to our membership community, where you will find live meetings, free workshops and courses, private discussion groups, and more. And now, on to this week's episode. Hello and welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in again this week. We are going to be talking today about considering divorce, a guide for dads. And what that means is this tends to be January and after the holidays, kind of the divorce season when people may have been putting things off or may have made their New Year's resolution that they're going to get a divorce. And we start to see things really pick up beginning in the first quarter, first month of the year. So what I wanted to do today is just chat a little bit about some of the important things, particularly in building your team of professionals when you're considering filing for divorce. But before they do that, as always, let's welcome our two new members to the Divorced Advocate community. That is Todd and Christopher. Welcome. And if you're not part of the community, check out the website at thedivorcedadvocate.com. All kinds of resources there from free to paid that will allow you to get the support that you need and deserve. We also have a new Signal channel so that we can get some ongoing discussion and conversations going and support for all of you guys that are in the thick of things right now. So check that also out on Signal. If you don't have Signal, download it from one of the app stores and then just search the Divorced Dadvocate. All right. Divorce definitely is one of the most challenging decisions we as a dad can face. And it's not just a legal process. It's an emotional, it's a financial, it's a logistical shift and change that's going to impact every aspect of your life. And before you move forward, it's essential to approach the situation with careful planning and a strong support system, both professionally and personally. One of the best ways to navigate the journey is by assembling a team of professionals who can guide you through the complexities of divorce. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share why building a team is crucial and the roles each professional plays in making this process smoother, more informed, and less overwhelming. Kind of the way that I describe it in private and group meetings is that you're the coach of this divorce team. And while there may be some important players on that team, like a quarterback and a running back or a wide receiver or a linebacker, that's very important, that you are going to be the one that is in charge and coaching and guiding the team in the direction that you want to move. Each and every divorce is unique and specific to itself. Your family is very unique and has its own idiosyncrasies and its own environment. So that is why just listening to one or all of these professionals is not a good way to go about things, but by being in charge of and setting the tone as to how you want to move forward, what your wants and needs are going forward, and assembling your team that's going to help you to achieve that is the best mindset that I've found that you can adopt in going through this process. Now, that might seem overwhelming. That's why we're talking about this now. Hopefully before, or if you're in the beginning of this, if you've already started to build your team, or you can add on to building that team, or fill out all the positions that you need in order to go forward. So let's talk about the first one, and that's a family law attorney. Obviously, I highly, highly recommend, no matter what the circumstances or how amicable it can be, that you're going to get some advice from and meet with a family law attorney. Even if you work everything out amicably, there are so many T's that need to be crossed and I's that need to be dotted, that a good family law attorney is going to be able to help you to look at even an agreement that you may have come to with your soon-to-be ex, and just give you some idea about things that you might not have thought about. So, the skilled family law attorney is going to be your cornerstone, might be your quarterback of your team, if you will. And the important part about them is they understand the legal legal landscape. They're going to help you understand what your rights are, which are really important as a dad, and they're going to advocate for your best interests in custody, property division, and other legal matters. Now, just understand that is their specialty, right? That just like a quarterback specialty isn't necessarily running the ball. That's the running back specialty. The running back specialty is not necessarily throwing the ball. It's running the ball. A family law attorney's specialty is understanding the legal landscape. So that means that they understand they should hopefully understand and know the law. Not all of them do in intimate detail. But they should know the law. They should know the process by which, wherever your locality is, how that's going to work. That's different in different states, and it's different in different countries as well, as to what that process is going to be. So they will be able to know and help you through that process. What they're not going to be very well versed in is all the financial specifics, and that's why we're going to talk about some other ways to get help around that. With other professionals, they're not going to know real specific details around that, and finances and investments, or if you have a business and a business valuation and how you do that. That is not their specialty. They know the legal process. So just make sure that you are entrusting them, but also educating yourself on what that process is, and not looking to them to help you to figure out what the details are with how you're going to split assets, or what that looks like, or refinance mortgages, or loans, or businesses, or anything like that. They are not versed in that. They are versed in the legal process. They might have experienced based upon what they've gone through with other clients, some of this other stuff, but they do not know it in intimate detail. I think that was probably the number one mistake that I made, the number one mistake that I hear other guys make as well, is that they did just get an attorney, and they trust an attorney to take them through the process. And it is a huge, huge mistake. They can take them through the legal hurdles. They will know the law. They will help you through the process, dates and deadlines, etc. But there are other professionals that you need to get involved to make sure that this goes off as best as possible. So, an example of what you can expect from a family law attorney is, if you're shared about securing, or if you're worried about securing shared custody, your attorney can help you to negotiate a parenting plan that prioritizes your role as a father, and they'll ensure that you're aware of your rights and avoid pitfalls that could lead to unfavorable outcomes. So that's where they will know how to traverse the legal process, but it is incumbent upon you to determine what it is that you want and what you desire, and communicate that with them so that they can work on your behalf to that end. So don't leave it up to them. Don't listen and say, don't listen to the, well, this is what you're probably going to get in court, or this is what is pretty common, or this is what is standard. That's all crap, because every single situation, every single divorce is differently. I've had attorneys say to me, I would have never done that, but it worked out for you. And it's not just one time. So trust your instincts, trust your guts, but find a family law attorney that is going to help you through the process. For those of you that want to do it amicably, I appreciate that and I respect that. You absolutely need to have a family law attorney review your documents. There are so many different things that go into this, and it is so hard to fix on the back end. That's why you want to get something as airtight as possible up front before you settle or get have the divorce finalized, because going back and fixing things is much more difficult than doing it up front. So make sure you have, even if you've worked something out and you've got everything, pay the money to have a family law attorney look at this, look at your agreement, and give you advice on that. That's one of the things that we do in our group all of the time. Is guys will share what they're either contemplating or considering or have put together or come to agreements on, and we'll talk about it in a group setting, and we'll share kind of experiences, but also share things, point out things that they need to consider as well. Oftentimes, we'll also share our existing parenting plans or divorce decrees that we've had written, and you take a lot of those. And you put them all together in a group, and then it helps you to kind of sift through what your situation is and find something that might work for you, because there are innumerable different ways that you can come to agreements and create the environment that you want, and that could be healthy and functional in your divorce or post-divorce. Okay, so that's the family law attorney, probably one of the more important professionals, maybe your quarterback. The second one is an accountant or a CPA, and your divorce is going to significantly affect your taxes, your income reporting, your financial disclosures. An accountant can ensure accuracy and help you understand the financial implications of the decisions that you're making. An example is an accountant can help you identify the tax consequences of dividing assets, such as whether to sell the family home or keep it. They'll also help you prepare financial documents that may be required for court or mediation. That's incredibly helpful if you have your accountant or CPA that helps you prepare those, because you can always utilize them. At least just to be able to say that you had your accountant or CPA do this or review this with you, or even call them as a witness to testify on your behalf if they're willing to do that. But having somebody that is going to look at those tax implications, also if you're going to be splitting assets or retirement funds and there's penalties for breaking them, et cetera, then you want to know what those are, what kind of impact that's going to have maybe on your taxes. Even more so if you have a business that you might be splitting, or a business that you might be buying somebody out of as well. You definitely want to have an accountant or CPA. What you do, so this is another common mistake I see oftentimes with guys, is and this was a mistake I made too, is I just want to get this done. I just want to stop arguing or fighting. And sometimes it's really incredibly important to have to do that, to have to hash things out as difficult and challenging as it might be up front. And for some of us that don't like to argue or didn't want to argue or want to just be peacemakers, that's really difficult. But I can assure you, if you don't do this on the front end, that it will prolong things and make things much more difficult on the back end, because you're just going to be trying to fix stuff. And if you put yourself behind the eight ball, if you put yourself in a very bad financial situation, which happens oftentimes with guys and dads, is it's going to make your life even more difficult, and it's going to make it harder for you to parent and be a father, because if you're stressed out about money all the time, it's difficult to be present with your kiddos and being that heartfelt, that present father. If you're stressed out about money, or you don't have to have money, or working multiple jobs, or whatever it might be. So make sure that you get an accountant or a CPA. And the next one we're going to talk about is a financial planner, because it should be a financial plan for the long run, not just what you're doing now and just how you're splitting assets. It's how things are going to work in the future to be successful, to being a single father, parenting your children, and creating an environment that is conducive to raising them to be healthy and functional adults. So that's the next one, is a financial planner, real estate agent, and a mortgage broker. I kind of lump those all together. They're going to help you evaluate your current financial standing and plan for your post-divorce future. They can provide clarity on how to allocate resources, manage debts, and maintain sustainability. An example is if you're dividing retirement accounts, a financial planner can help project how these changes will affect your long-term financial health, right? Like the CPA is going to help if there's any penalties and what you might be paying on your taxes. Financial planner is going to give you an idea of what your long-term financial health is going to be. They can also help create a post-divorce budget, which I highly recommend that you do to ensure you can maintain your lifestyle while meeting obligations like child support or alimony. Real estate agents and mortgage brokers are incredibly helpful as well, because this is probably one of the greatest mistakes I see also, is that there is a home that is going to be refinanced to one or the other person, and they want to either refinance it or they want to do a workout. But they don't have the knowledge of how that's going to happen, what the time frames and timelines are for doing that, and then they get a divorce agreement that says it needs to be done in 90 days, which is just not feasible. Definitely for not a workout. If you're trying to do a workout and take somebody off an existing loan with a low interest rate right now, that's going to take much longer than 90 days. And I see this all the time. And then the ex-spouse gets spiteful, takes them back for contempt. The judges are so clueless about this, and they just don't really care to know that that's not an easy situation to do and to get done. And the fact that they ordered and agreed to that, and the judge didn't say, "Are you sure?" in the first place, they don't care, and then they put you in contempt. You want to make sure that you are talking to not just any mortgage broker and not just any real estate agent or financial planner. Talk to somebody that is well versed in divorces, that understands what the timelines are. If you've got a temporary orders and agreements, those can count towards the time frame towards qualifying for a new loan. So that is very helpful as well. There are all kinds of different caveats that go into this. So you talk to a regular mortgage broker, somebody that hasn't been involved in this, they're not going to really know all the details and all the specific fine ways in which you can go about doing this and doing it successfully if you know how to do it. So this happens oftentimes, and I see it all the time. Then the attorneys are like, "Yeah, 90 days, we agree to this. You're going to take them off the loan, da 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 da," and it just doesn't happen. And then there starts to be arguing. You go back to court, you end up spending more money. So get involved with a financial planner, a real estate agent. If you have a home and you're either going to sell that or you're going to refinance that, and a mortgage broker or a banker or whomever is going to do a refinance or help you with a workout. Okay, number 4 is a therapist or a counselor. And the reason they're important is divorce is, as you know, if you're in the midst of it right now, emotionally taxing. And not just for you, but also for your children. And a therapist is going to provide a safe space to process your feelings, develop coping strategies, and ensure your emotional well-being remains intact. Your attorney is not your therapist. Let me say that again and emphasize that. Your attorney is not your therapist. Calling and being upset about how things are going, or that your soon-to-be ex is not cooperating, or the dynamic that you've experienced throughout your marriage is manifesting through the divorce proceedings and negotiations. That's not a conversation with your attorney. If your attorney is even nice enough to listen to that, they're going to be charging you $300, $400, $500, whatever the cost is to do that. And that is an incredibly expensive way to get therapy. And it's not going to be even very beneficial, because they're not going to give you any type of help in processing that. So find a therapist or a counselor to talk about this. There's going to be all kinds of emotions. You hear us talk about it in many episodes in the group meetings. They're going to come up. Things are going to get triggered. You're going to have difficult and challenging times. You're going to have very low times. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. There's going to be a myriad of different emotions that are going on. Find a therapist or counselor. They can help you manage those feelings, whether it's guilt or anger or sadness that come during, let's say, custody negotiations. They can also provide strategies for communicating effectively with your soon-to-be co-parent, which is critical for the kiddo's stability and getting through this process in as healthy a manner as you possibly can. So find a therapist or counselor for yourself and for your kiddos if you can. Okay, number 5 is a divorce coach. There's a reason I've left this to closer to the end. And a divorce coach is important because what they'll do is act as a guide through both the emotional and practical aspects of the divorce. They're also going to help you stay organized, focused, and proactive so you can make informed decisions without becoming overwhelmed. An example is if you're struggling to decide whether to pursue mediation or litigation, a divorce coach can help you weigh the pros and cons considering your priorities and long-term goals. Like I mentioned earlier, every divorce is different. Yours is a unique situation that only you know the direction and path that you want it to go and that you feel is the most appropriate. So listening to an attorney soliciting an attorney's advice is okay. Same with a CPA or accountant, financial planner, mortgage broker, real estate agent, and or a therapist or a counselor. That is all good. They're all going to have their specific, narrow ideas and view of what you're going through in your divorce. So they're going to give advice based upon that narrow view, which is okay. The legal is going to be specific and narrow to the legal, the financial to the financial, the therapy to emotions of feelings, etc. But what a divorce coach does that is so incredibly helpful, it takes all of that, the emotional and the practical aspects like the legal of that, and helps you to sort through and find a specific direction that you want to go based upon your specific circumstances, yourself, mentally, emotionally, with your children, with the environment you have, what you plan for the future, what your finances are, all of that stuff. They take it, just like a coach does, takes everything, the offense, the defense, the special teams, all of that stuff, and is able to put it together into one game plan for a game. So a divorce coach is going to help you put that entire game plan together to help you get through that process is effectively as possible in the most healthy manner. And that's why divorce coaches are getting so popular now, because there is so much that goes on, and it is so absolutely overwhelming. And hopefully you haven't gone through it more than one time. Even if you've gone through it 2 or 3 times, it's not something that you've done very often, and you know how to get through. A divorce coach I've worked with thousands of men now that have gone through this divorce process. So not only having my own experience over the last 12 years, but having talked to thousands of men over the past 5-6 years and help them through the process, then that also helps to give you a greater picture and guide you through this process and just give you ideas of what to expect. Also point out things to consider, and then help you to make the decisions based on what you feel is going to be the best for yourself and your family. So if you can't afford it, get a divorce coach. I can tell you that unequivocally, it is going to save you money. If it saves you from calling the attorney and talking to the attorney for hours and racking up a bill, or making a wrong decision in the settlement that you make and having to go back to court after, or being put into contempt after, where you have to pay thousands of dollars every single time, I know that I have saved my clients money in helping them get through this divorce. Not to mention the mental and emotional help that helps them to get through this in an effective manner with their relationship with their children, and making sure that stays positive and proactive, and being able to make that transition into single fatherhood with them. So there's a myriad of different things, as you know, in contemplating this or going through it, that comes up that you have to deal with. A divorce coach is going to help you through that process. Another one, and these last two are just they're optional. Is a business valuator for those of you who are business owners that may either have a business or are in business with your soon-to-be ex. Valuation can be very contentious during property division, and so a business valuator provides a fair and accurate assessment of its worth. It's a third party. There are no variables. It's not subjective. It's objective, and a business evaluator is just going to help you determine its value and propose options such as buying out your spouse or selling the business and dividing the proceeds and starting a new one, whatever it might be. They're going to help you through that process. And the last one is a child specialist or a parenting coordinator, and that's somebody to if you have children, obviously their priority is top. Their well-being is one of your top priorities, and a child specialist just can help you understand their needs and provide guidance on crafting a parenting plan that works for everyone. Now, I just would be very careful with this as a dad, particularly with the parenting coordinators or decision makers in codifying this in your divorce decree. They do and can offer insights into different child custody arrangements that might impact your children's emotional health and development, and they can help you make decisions that are in their best interest. But I will also say that oftentimes they can, and this seems to be something that's happening more and more in court, overemphasize a young child's desires toward one parent or another. So the courts are still archaic in their mindset that mothers have a more important role, if you will, for a lack of a better term, in the child rearing or in the time spent with the children. And this is, as much as I talk about it, you hear me talk about it, all of the studies and statistics state otherwise, that fathers and their importance are equally, if not more important to the long-term success and healthy functioning of children in their adult life, that the courts have not caught up to this. So be careful with parental coordinators, decision makers, child specialists, in that they're taking the kids' opinions, if you will, of, well, I want to be with daddy more, I want to be with mommy more, etc. Because number one, they don't know, they don't understand at whatever their age, even at teenage, the importance that spending time with their father has in their life, and what it provides to them in, again, raising and becoming healthy, functional adults. So while it's good to get some of that advice around different custody arrangements, maybe some insight into what the kids are going through and what their emotional health and development might look like, and then guiding you in creating and crafting a plan that works, just be very, very careful with them, because I've seen that go very sideways, and it seems like I'm hearing more bad stories than I'm hearing good stories about that. And I don't know specifically if that's just the environment I'm working in, or if that's a general thing. But I just want to say, be very careful with the child specialist or a parent coordinator decision maker. All right, so putting it all together, by assembling this team, you're not just preparing for your divorce, you're setting yourself up for a stable and informed transition into your post-divorce life. So here's 4 bullet points of how these professionals now will all work together. You're the coach, again. Think about that. Your attorney ensures you meet legal requirements and secures fair terms. The accountant and financial planner, real estate agent, mortgage broker collaborate to protect your financial health. The therapist and divorce coach help you manage the emotional and practical aspects, as well as communication with your soon-to-be ex, as well as your children. And then specialists like business evaluators or child specialists address specific challenges unique to your situation. And a divorce coach helps you to keep it all on track, keep it all together, paying attention to everything that you need to in order to get things done. So while assembling a team of professionals might feel daunting, remember, divorce is not a process you should navigate alone. Lean on these experts. You can focus on what matters the most when you do this, being the best dad you can be for your children and building a strong foundation for the next chapter of your life. Take the first step today. Start by consulting family law attorney. Actually, I'd say start by consulting a divorce coach that's going to help you then outline your priorities. A family law attorney might be one of the first ones you contact after that, but then the rest of your team can fall into place from there. Remember, you're not just facing a divorce, you're crafting a new beginning. You hear us talk about Life 2.0, and with the right support, you can come through this stronger, wiser, and ready for the road ahead. All right. Also, I just want to say, if you need help finding professionals in your area or additional resources to get started, let us know. Send me a message directly at jude@thedivorcedadvocate.com or get on our website. We have resources. We've got guys in our group meetings. I've coached guys all over the country, actually all over the world. And I've got resources that I can put you in contact with, whatever that might be. Or we've got other guys that you can collaborate with in whatever area of the country that you're in. So get involved in the community. Start working on getting your team together. And the last point I'll make is get the support of the community, whether it's our divorced advocate community, church community, a men's group that's also going to support you through this as well. That's the personal part of it, and you've heard us talk about that in other podcasts. Thanks for listening this week. I hope that you found some value in what you heard. If you did, please leave us a star rating, or even better, leave us a comment on whatever podcast platform or wherever you might be viewing or listening to this at. You have no idea, fellas, how much that helps us in getting other guys to tune in, listen, and get the support that they need and that they deserve as well. So that helps us immensely. Also, sharing this on social media in whatever divorce support groups you might be in, on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else, will also help us as well. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a terrific week, and God bless. To hear the rest of this episode and access the corresponding resources, visit thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member of our community. It's free to join and will provide you with the resources you deserve as a divorced or divorcing dad. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll talk with you next week.